quizzes that pops up on your phone as an ad that says discover your IQ score, and you go and you fill up the tests, and after you fill up the test it says, oh my god, your score is matching Einstein or Elon Musk, or you're such a genius and you should be a rocket scientist. It's such a fun game to boost and increase your confidence and feel how smart and awesome you are. But there's another kind of intelligence. It's called EQ, emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? And what is it in comparison to IQ? Let's see. Hello, beautiful people. I am Diana, and this is Diana Show. I'll be talking to you on this show about variety and different things, but the goal will always be is to make our life better, nicer, and happier for us and everybody around us. I'll learn from you, and you'll learn from me. And I hope I live up to your expectation. Let's go. As we mentioned before, we'll be discussing EQ, emotional intelligence. This term has been thrown around a lot lately, and it's hard to pin down and know exactly what does it mean. So I looked it up, and I identified it through Google, of course, and ChatGPT to figure out what does it really mean to have an emotional intelligence. I'm going to read it for you. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, evaluate, and express emotions accurately, understand others' emotions, and regulate emotions in yourself and others in a way that supports thinking and appropriate behavior. Understand that sounds complicated, but why is it important? Who has time for this? To put it in simple terms, you have to be considerate, to have some sense, to read the room, to not take everything personally, and to know how to handle your emotions as a grown-up. All right, okay, why should I even care? Who has the time for this? I'm an authentic person, and whatever is in my heart, I'll let it out. I don't have to sugarcoat, I don't have to pamper anybody, I don't have to babysit anyone. It's up to you. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. Take this information and do as you will with it. Know for sure that EQ, emotional intelligence, helps you to build a healthier and better, happier relationship with everybody around you. Romantic, social one, relationship with your work. It helps you also to make illogical and balanced decisions. It's better for your overall physical, mental, and emotional health because life's gonna throw at you so many curveballs. You need to know how to react to it properly and correctly. It helps you learn how to cope with life pressures, which you can avoid, and makes you negotiate better, get what you want into the win-win negotiation, and build a better relationships, as we said before. And that's basically what separates people that has IQ with a low EQ from the one that has a relatively low IQ and a high EQ. Having high IQ makes you intelligent and smart. You can solve any math problems. You can read a scientific article. You can have brilliant ideas. You can solve problems. But having a high EQ stops you from punching the guy who actually won you at chess. Having high EQ makes you manage your emotions. To put it simply, having high IQ gets you in college. Having high EQ helps you deal with everybody in the college. Having high IQ helps you win in exams and pass your test. But having a high EQ makes you win at life. If we look at it in a polarizing way, you could be a brilliant person, such a genius. You can solve any problem that falls in your hands. But you have a shitty personality. You don't filter your words. You're rude. You're inconsiderate. You lack empathy. And another person who might not be as smart as you are, but everybody loves to be around him. Everybody feel a sense of peace, and they feel their emotions regulated when they're around them. They know how to be empathetic. They know how to be considerate. They know how to say what's in their heart in a proper and considerate way. Who do you think is going to get the promotion? Who do you think is going to have a bigger social circle? Who do you think, if there's an opportunity, is going to be called first? Our networking, our social circle is essential to our life. It's essential to our success. And having an IQ does not get you there. Having a high EQ gets you there. Now, what are the signs that I lack some emotional intelligence? First one, you're quick to anger. You're temperamental. Anything, the small thing makes you cranky, makes you upset, and you start taking everybody around you, and you're just a miserable person overall. Second one, you feel that everybody's against you. every problem, everything anybody says to you or do to you, take it very personal. Oh my God, they're trying to attack me. Oh my God, they're trying to get on my case. Dude, nobody cares. I promise you, nobody thinks about you after a situation has passed. People go on with their lives. Another one, they blame other people for their reaction. Well, I wouldn't have been that upset if they didn't do this or did that. I wouldn't have smashed that big bottle on the floor if they didn't provoke me. You're not a toddler. You should be able and know how to regulate your emotion as an adult. You cannot have all the freedom and responsibility. The only person that has this is a baby, and you're not a baby. So manage your emotions, manage your feelings as an adult. You struggle with empathy. You don't know how to deal with somebody's emotion. Somebody's crying or they're upset. Oh, they're too sensitive. Don't be too sensitive. Oh, stop crying, Things could have been worse. That's true. Things could have been worse. But you have to understand that people has to feel their feelings, to give them the space, to give them the understanding, to give them the acknowledgement that they need, they are seen and they are heard. Your relationship doesn't last. You have a problem with everybody at work. You have a problem with your wife, your life partner. You have a problem with your kids. And it's always somebody else's fault. It's never your fault. Imagine that everybody around you is at fault and you are the right one. You're the righteous one. You don't take feedback very well. Any feedback you get from others, you consider as an attack to your identity and your personality. And I'm not saying take everybody's word in consideration. Of course not. But below, we're going to be mentioning the stuff and the tips and the instruction that we can do to help us increase our emotional intelligence. But feedback is important, and it's important for you to get a feedback. It's very hard for us to see what we do and what we say when we're too close. Somebody from the outside has to see it, but of course not anybody. I have a confession to make. As I'm doing my research to write the script for this episode, and so I can talk to you about it, because emotional intelligence is something very important and we all should have. So I am doing my research, trying to find out what are the symptoms, what are the signs that shows somebody's lack some emotional intelligence. And I have to admit, I recognize some of these symptoms in myself. So I kept procrastinating the whole day because I didn't want to record this episode, because after all, I really care about integrity and I don't want to preach for something that I don't do myself. So I'm going to how come I'm going to come and talk to you about something that I don't actually practice? But I convinced myself otherwise. I thought to myself, if I come out here authentically and honestly shared with you that no one is perfect, that we all do mistakes, that when we do know better, we'll always do better, and there's always room for improvement, and there's always way to improve and enhance our emotional intelligence. I figured if I told you this information, it's going to make you feel better about yourself, and it's going to make you take the steps to enhance and improve yourself, and also to keep this an episode as a reminder to myself in the future if I fell in the trap of lacking in emotional intelligence, so I can come back to it and revise this information one more time. So it's for you and for me. It's as usual, because I really benefit from doing these episodes. When I do my research, I learn as I'm telling you about this stuff. Now that we know all this information, what are the steps to increase and enhance our emotional intelligence? First step, as everything else we talk about here, all of it starts with self-awareness. You have to be self-aware of your negative feelings. Your negative feelings is the way that your body communicates with your mind. It's trying to tell you something. So listen to it. Be curious to know why you feel this way. First of all, be curious to know what is the feeling and to know why you are feeling this way and how can you cope with it. So always start with self-awareness. Do not take your negative feelings as, this is who I am. This is who I am. I am an asshole and everybody knows that, and I hate everybody and everybody hates me, and it's okay. I'm okay with that. That is such lack in emotional intelligence. You should be able to know thyself. You should be self-aware of yourself. So always be curious to know yourself. Work in self-regulation. And I understand in the heat of the moment, it's very hard to do that. Somebody provokes you, somebody crosses a boundary, somebody really makes you angry or triggered you in any way. It's very hard at that moment to practice self-control. But always remember, you cannot control people's action. You only can control yours. So if something happened or a situation arises where you're triggered, which mostly we get triggered because we have our own wounds and our own trauma, learn how to regulate your emotions. Learn how to calm yourself down. Learn how to cope with these negative feelings so you can act properly and logically and can make an educated and better decision. Not an emotional one, but educated, logical decisions. Train your empath muscles. In order for me to do this, because I had a problem doing that before, I'm a person who has no filter. I say whatever's in my heart. I don't have to sugarcoat. This is the way that I am. But it's inconsiderate when you don't read the room, when you don't understand other people's feeling, or when you just care about letting whatever's inside of you out and screw everybody else. It's screw how that lands. If it's going to actually hurt them or really, really upset them in a way that your words you cannot take back. So I started doing something, and actually that helped me big time. Put yourself in that person's shoes. Put yourself in their shoes and in their circumstances. Try to feel their feelings. Understand that we're different people and we deal with situations and events differently based on our coping mechanism and based on our emotional intelligence. Be understanding and be sensitive to other people's feelings. Journaling your emotions is very helpful to take everything. If you felt such a stress here and everything gets cramming and you're upset, you're just not sure why. You're not able to pinpoint it. You're not able to know what is it. Writing it down helps big time. Because what you do is, like I said, it's very hard to tell what's going on with us when we're too close. But having this stuff down on a paper, and I'm saying pen and paper, not just on your phone, because it makes different when you transfer this information and use your hand to put it down, you'll be able to see it from a little bit far away. You can see what it is. You can understand it better. You can be more curious and try to discover a little bit more. Where is this coming from? Therefore, journaling helps a lot in regulating your emotions. Improve emotional connection. And this is a big deal. You always do this. You always do that. You never do this. You never do that. You always say this. You always say that. The word always and never, always feels like attack on that person. When you start accusing somebody that they always do something or they never do something, they get into that defensive position. They feel that you are attacking them and they have to defend themselves at this point. So you're not going to get anywhere. But if you change the narrative to, I feel this way when you do 1, 2, 3. I will react this way if you do 1, 2, 3. When you move the attention to yourself more than the other person, they won't feel that they're being attacked. You're expressing yourself, you know your emotions, you know what it is, and you're trying to deliver it and communicate it to the person in front of you. Be aware of your body language and your tone. I know it's very hard to control, especially when you are in an unpleasant situation. You might not say anything at the time, but man, your face said it all. Man, your voice tone has changed. And it's very hard to change that because it's our nature. Slowly but surely, you train yourself on how to regulate your body and your face. Not everybody needs to know what you're thinking about. Not everybody needs to know what are the thoughts in your head. Ask for feedback from people that you love and you trust. As I mentioned before, people who lack emotional intelligence cannot take feedback at all. They consider every feedback as an attack on them. But if you go to people that you trust within your inner circle and you run things by them, and they will not steer you wrong, because people who loves you and care about your future, they will be honest with you. They tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So listen to these people and act accordingly. I consider myself very blessed and very, very lucky with my inner circle. If I misbehaved, there's always somebody to correct me, and I trust their opinion because they know me. And it's very hard for me to tell what's going on because as I said, I'm too close in the situation. But from far away, they care about my well-being and they're always going to give me an honest, helpful feedback. Take a breather. Breathe before you react. Before you go punch somebody in the face, breathe. Breathing's so helpful. It makes you regulate your emotion. Makes you feel a lot more calmer. And it makes you feel more calm in your nervous system. I hope these tips helps you. And I hope this episode was helpful and it was easy to understand. Emotional intelligence is crucial in us and in the people that are in our circles. Be aware of the people that you surround yourself with. They have to have a high emotional intelligence. And you must have an emotional intelligence. It's your job to know thyself. All right. Okay, guys, if you liked the episode, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. And until see you next time.